Peru. There's quite a history there for Peru. Again, there's some things I don't have, but let us start with what we do. Now, before the U.S. Mint got involved, the Waterbury Mint in 1895 struck this one dos centavos coin for Peru. Now, in 1916 and 17, we didn't actually strike coins, but we provided, the Philadelphia Mint started providing some mint blanks that would be used for the one sol size coin. So that probably would have come from that. There were also some gold planchets, a small size that would be 1/5 of a libra, and a larger one that would be a un libra. I don't have a 1/5 libra to show what that would look like, but I think it's the same as this, but smaller. And this would be from a Philadelphia Mint blank. So this wasn't struck in the U.S. Only the planchet was provided. So I leave this spot blank because I don't have a 1/5 libra. It just shows what would have been done with some of the blank planchets. Unfortunately, blank planchets was the only gold that we did, and America did for Peru, was blank planchets. Then, 1918, we began making coins proper. Beginning here with this 5 centavo. And this 10 centavo. And this 20 centavo. 1919, we got a little more into it all. The U.S. Mint decided to make the 1 and 2 centavo. As well as the 5, 10, and 20 cent. $0.10. And the 20 cent. In 1919, more gold planchets were made, all of them the libra size, for more coins that look like this. The one thing that is slightly remarkable about the planchets made in 1919 is that 300,000 of them were made in Denver, and only about another 50-something thousand in Philadelphia. Those 300,000 gold planchets made in 1919 and provided to Peru are the only instance of any gold passing through the U.S. Mint to become part of this program. In all other cases, coins, planchets, even the gold weights for Saudi Arabia, everything is through the Philadelphia Mint alone. Every gold coin is through the Philadelphia Mint alone. So that would be kind of cool. But the coin would look no different than this, other than it would be dated probably 1919. Now, in 1920, I guess they felt they had enough 5 cents, so they only made the 10 cent. And the 20 cent. And again, in 1921, they made just the 10 cent. And the 20 cent. Interesting toning here from these striations. I don't know. They seem to have a thing about that. Now, in 1923, they made some more. They made a 5 cent. Now reviving that. And then they started making a 1 sol. So they started making the coins. So this is 1920. Oh, that is a 23, not 5. Boy, that's hard to tell. Okay, and they continued that in 1924. Somebody cleaned this one pretty badly, but at least you can see what it is. The details are fairly well there. 1925. Now, I think before we go much further on this, I'm going to show that some of these coins that are very similar to this were not struck in America, but you can tell the difference fairly easily. All right, see now, the one on the left is Philadelphia, the one on the right was struck in Peru, probably Lima, I would presume. The biggest and easiest way to tell the difference is to look at the lettering around here. See how the American one, it ends kind of way down under this group of leaves, whereas the Peruvian one, it just barely makes it, only the very first letter just barely makes it under those leaves, and the words are somewhat bigger. So that's how you can tell that this one is made in Philadelphia, and this one is made in Lima or some other Peruvian mint. So, kind of an interesting comparison. 1926, we make more coins of all denominations. Here's the 5 cent. Here's the 10 cent. Here's the 20 cent. And here's the 1 sol. And here, in World War II, we revive it again, and in brass. Here's our 5 cent from Philadelphia, and our 5 cent from San Francisco. And in this case, we have the mint mark, as you can see, under the TA of centavos. Pretty cool, huh? And then again, the 10 cent from Philadelphia, and the 10 cent from San Francisco. There's our S again. 20 cent from both mints I don't have, so that's these little overturned pennies indicate what few I still need to track down. Okay, there's a half sol from Philadelphia, and a half sol from San Francisco. And once again, at the bottom there's a little S to indicate it's from San Francisco. Pretty cool, huh? Now, 1943, same denomination, same story. All right, here's a 5 cent from Philadelphia. I don't have the San Francisco one. I don't have any 10 cents from 1943. But here's a 20 cent from Philadelphia. And a 20 cent from San Francisco. And again, note the little S there underneath the TA. Finally, the half sol. This one's Philadelphia, obviously. And a half sol from San Francisco. Look at that S down there. And now the 1 sol. First time we made a sol since 1926. No more design. Notice everything's brass. And indeed, Peru liked the brass so much that after World War II, they continued to have everything done in brass. And as with the earlier example, there are coins similar to these that are not made in the U.S., and they either spell the words differently, or they might just have the date written as a date, the words for the date that you see there in Spanish, or they might even just have the date in numbers. When you see that, other than the half sol and the 1 sol, that's how you know that they're not American made. 1944, half sol, only Philadelphia now is involved. And here's the 1 sol, 1944. Okay. 1945, the only half sol that we made, the only coin we made for them was the half sol. Don't mind that, that's just a something on the plastic this is wrapped in. And then that was it. The Halton Barton covered. But there was a little bit more afterwards. In 1975, we struck this coin, 1 sol. We used still brass, but a whole lot smaller, reflecting the inflation of the time. And in 76, we continued making this. This time with the date 1976. Some of these are even struck as late as 1977. And here's the half sol, also struck in 1976. So some of one or the other of these struck in 1977. And a Philippine brass 5 cent struck in 77 were the last coins struck for either of those countries, and in both cases they were dated 1976. Well, that finishes out Peru.